Do AI design tools really work? Are they as amazing as they claim to be? Today, I am putting them to the test. I'm going to be trying out 4 different AI design tools for the very first time. This is the first time that I've ever used any type of AI design tool, and I'm going to be seeing if they are more of a help or a hindrance to the design process. And I'll also see exactly how afraid I should be of AI taking my job as a designer. First up, let's try Uwizard? I don't actually know how to pronounce this, but it's meant to be able to take a wireframe that you've drawn and transform it into a high fidelity design. So let's see just how good a job it does at that. I've created an account, but I haven't done anything yet. We're gonna start from scratch. And I know that I'm supposed to be looking for this magic tab. Let's scan a wireframe sketch. I'm gonna drag one in that I prepared earlier. Let's see how good a job it does. Okay, yep, this is my sketch. It should be for web. We're gonna go ahead and import. Okay, interesting. Let's bring up my drawing and compare it side by side, shall we? So when I draw a squiggly line like this in a wireframe, I mean it to be a heading, and it does seem to have captured that, so I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, this is an image, it's put an image. These though, it's made them into radio buttons, and I intended them to be little icons. That's like what I draw in a wireframe as an icon. I wonder if there's a way you can like train it to know what a piece of a drawing is going to be. It didn't quite capture either, you know, an icon here or all of the text underneath this, even though I had it in all of these places. It's got an image. It's also missed my CTA button up the top here. It's put an input field in here and another one here. I like how, because I didn't write anything, it is added in some lorem ipsum though. This is where we really start to lose it. Like, I was meaning this to be like a card or something with a colored background, and I mean, it just doesn't exist in what this has done. Let's see now though if we can take this and turn it back into a wireframe, because I've seen this is another feature, this one here. If I click this, okay, now we go back to wireframe. I could actually see this feature being pretty useful. When we're like pulling from a design system, you can end up, even in the like early phases of a project, producing something that looks pretty high fidelity, and that can be confusing for a stakeholder to give feedback. They're like thinking you're presenting the finished details when really that was just the fastest way for you to put together a mock-up. So being able to turn it into a wireframe again could be useful. I want to try something else, because I know they have something where you can add in, here we go, a screenshot. It always wants me to use the demo first, it seems, but I'm going to add in a screenshot of the ConvertKit homepage, and we'll see how it does in transforming this into an editable design.
5 minutes later.
Okay, it's done it, but it's in wireframe mode. I'm going to move this back over, and that's because I guess I didn't turn this off. Let's turn it back on again. Okay, well, it's completely changed our font. I guess it didn't know how to read it. What has it done here? It's put this in as an image, and this one seems to be editable as... Can I edit this? Can I like... No? Yeah, there we go. This one's editable, this one isn't, so that's weird. It obviously didn't see that as a button. But still, this is a good base to start with, we'll say. It's lost some numbers. I guess it had trouble drawing my vector speech bubble a little bit. It's got these folks in here, and okay. I guess what I can say is that this seems more useful than starting completely from scratch if you wanted to rebuild something. But I'm not understanding what the use case is for this, to be honest. I was thinking originally like maybe this is useful if you want to learn how a web page is structured, like learn from what someone else has done. But I think the best way to go about learning in that sense is to actually rebuild it yourself and go through the process of making the alignment of things, making the choices, copying what you see. I don't know how much value you're going to get from this specifically, and I really hope no one uses this as a way to generate our logo. Let's see what else. Ooh, this is interesting. I wish I had an actual Hotjar heat map to compare this to. Okay, here we go. It's going to generate a heat map based on what it thinks users will most pay attention to. I mean, it's obviously attaching itself to the larger, darker text, to people's faces as well, although not so much there. It kind of appears to me just like it's being done based on contrast in a way. I don't know. Yeah, I wish I had a real one to compare to, because that is interesting. I really want to try one more wireframe. Let's draw something else, shall we? We'll draw a mobile page this time. Okay, this time I've actually written some text and I'm gonna see if it makes this into an icon if I put a little cross through it and if it knows that this is meant to be a button. I don't know, let's see. Let's go, which was it again? This one. Oh my God, it read my writing. You saw how terrible that is, right? Like this is me writing on my iPad, very realistic. I guess I was even trying to be a little bit more neater than usual. It read it and it's got that text in there now. That's kind of cool. It did nothing with the like laptop image thing I was trying to make it generate. It hasn't made this a headline and it hasn't made this any larger than other text either. I guess this is a button now, I guess. That's what this is doing. But still, again, is this more useful than just like dragging in stuff yourself? Maybe. I guess it gives you a base to start with, and I guess that if you use this design tool then it's already in here. But because I use Figma to actually create my final designs, I can't see this being a valuable addition to my process specifically. Let's try out one more though. Visily is a tool that does something kind of similar. Oh, it does specifically say it's built for non-designers, so that's interesting. But let's jump in and try this. So I'm gonna click start from scratch and sure, let's wait, can I do a web page? I guess we're doing an app. Let's start designing. I don't want your instructions. Let's see. Okay, maybe I should have used the instructions. I'm gonna drag in this image and let's see if we can find the magic tool for it. Ooh, how about this? Maybe I'm wrong about this tool being able to create designs from wireframes. Ooh, here we go. Okay, maybe it doesn't do it from a wireframe, but we'll try again with the ConvertKit site here. Okay, what's it made for me? It seems to have produced two versions. Output 1 closely matches the uploaded screenshot, and then the second is with a different theme. So that's interesting. This is done, oh, well, I was looking at the top and I was gonna say a much better job than Wizard did, but I'm not sure now as I look further down the page. Like, what's happening here? It's lasted a whole paragraph. It has also not managed to replicate my speech bubble, but the font, even though it is still wrong, is, I don't know, it feels slightly closer at least, and it's captured this bit a bit better. Oh, it has taken some creative liberty there. That is not Cortland Allen. And that is certainly not Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, it did a much better job with this though. Did it just put in an image? I think it did. Which, to be fair, it's an image on our side. It's lost color here for some reason. Interesting. I don't know if one is better than the other, to be honest. I think they both have different strengths and flaws. I do really want to try to get it to create a page from a wireframe though, and I think that I do that here. We'll try my original website first. Let's try again.
3 hours later.
Where'd that graph come from? Again, let's compare these. So it seems to have thought this was a graph. Ooh, it's done a much better job of the buttons though, at least. Hasn't recognized a heading like the other one did there for some reason, but not at the top. Okay, interesting. Let's try again with a mobile one. I actually tried hard with this one to make it like a kind of like a neat wireframe to work from. Ooh, at least it seems to have recognized that this was an image. I think because of the cross, hasn't done the circle shape, but I guess I could click this and just turn it into one. Interesting. I don't know, maybe the way I wireframe just cannot be read by AI, because something like this would be really useful for making the leap from, you know, iPad sketches into high fidelity. Let's move on from web design, shall we? And let's try get it to generate a brand for us. So I'm gonna type in create a network. This is a new product from ConvertKit. We haven't made a separate visual identity for it yet, so maybe Looker can help me get there. Let's try. Okay, industry. Okay, pick some logos that we like. I'm gonna click on this one, like the hand-drawn side of things, like the simplicity of that one. Kind of was drawn to that one as well. Another hand-drawn one. I don't know, let's just click on a few and we'll see what it does. I'm gonna go for blue. And I don't want a slogan. I'm gonna click on this type of thing because it's kind of similar to visuals we've been using. I want it to have more of like an arty feel. And let's bring in some good vibes too. Okay, So pretty much it's taken the logos that I clicked on and it's just put my text into them. And it's not going to let me see any more without signing up, and I don't particularly want to give this company my data. I think this idea of generating a brand would be stronger if it like asked you some questions about your business and then suggested iconography or colors that best fit with what you were trying to achieve. I'm sure there's plenty of articles on the internet about like color theory, color psychology that the machine could learn from to suggest those things. But also if you just want like a quick logo for a project and you don't have the skills to create it for yourself, then I don't know, maybe something like this can give you some usable options. The last thing I want to look at, another part of my job, is designing presentations. So let's see what this one suggests. So this is going to generate a slide based on a text prompt. I'm going to give it some information from a real brand perception survey that I ran recently. Oh, okay, well apparently it can't take a lot of text. Let's give it a little bit less. Okay, so it's generated a chart for me, and notice that I put in percentages, and it's interpreted well, I think, the way I said voted in favor and then part-time are more likely to agree. So it's captured the agree and disagree side of this. Are the percentages correct? I mean, yeah, it probably is based on this number here, but it didn't mean that 23% or so of folks disagreed with this statement. Actually, we had, I'm looking at my real data, 16.5% said neither agree nor disagree. So if I presented the slide, it would be a little inaccurate, but hey, it got kind of close. Let's try one more thing. Let's try talk to it like it's ChatGPT. I'm gonna open an incognito window. Damn it even knows of incognito. Let me access it on a VPN. It still knows! How does it do that? Okay, that did kind of behave like ChatGPT in that it has created some content for me, not just displayed content that I gave it. It must be trained on our website because it knows that we're about email, that we have automations, and that, yeah, the idea is to engage your audience with personalized emails. It's definitely read our website. That is interesting. One thing I've noticed, because I have been using ChatGPT a bit recently when I've been brainstorming, is that the AI loves an exclamation mark. It's always saying, look no further. Have I got the something for you? Increasing engagement, exclamation point written here. Still, this could be a helpful base to start with. It's kind of funny that it's taken engagement to mean like a wedding engagement, not like audience engagement. So we got a ring there, but yeah, I know I joked a little bit in the beginning about AI taking our jobs as designers, and I just want to make it clear that even as these tools improve, which they will improve, they will get better, they will be able to read my wireframes, my style of wireframing, and perhaps, you know, pick the right icon for audience engagement, but I still don't think they will replace design as a career. I think we'll absolutely see more production work outsourced to AI, which I honestly see as a good thing. It frees up designers to spend more time on the creative, higher impact things, but even operating an AI requires someone to type in the right prompt that like understands the business insights and the audience and what we're trying to convince them of, what task we're trying to help them achieve. You still need to have a certain level of taste and like the ability to spot inconsistencies across a body of work as you're using AI. I will not be introducing any of the tools that I tried today into my process. Definitely think they're more of a hindrance than a help at this stage, but I'll be keeping an eye on them and keeping open-minded to new tools as they arise. What do you think about AI? Are you using it in your design process? Do you have concerns about it replacing your job one day? Let me know about it down below in the comments, and if you want to see another fun video where I'm testing out my color IQ and doing some fun tests online, go check out this video over here.